Article 1, the executive, that's Article 2, and the judicial, that's Article 3. Have you forgotten that on July 4, 1776, we declared independence from foreign monarchs? We do not believe the founders would approve of any American elected official accepting knighthood from the Queen of England or bowing before any king. The Declaration of Independence tells us that our rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are God-given, not government-granted. Governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. A power grab without our informed consent is tyranny. Edmund Burke said it best: those who do not know history are destined to repeat it. Have you forgotten that? On September 17, 1787, we the people wrote down our Constitution to limit the power of government, not limit the right of citizens. We champion the First Amendment, which states Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Also the 10th, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. The Constitution itself maps out the way for it to be changed through amendment. It does not authorize 9 people dressed in black robes to throw out 200 years of history against the consent of the governed in the name of a living document interpretation. Have you forgotten that on February 21st, 1848, a heavy progressive income tax, increased state ownership of factories, and a government takeover of the banking system were all first proposed by Karl Marx? That must be why an aspiring young politician would carefully choose as friends the Marxist professors, the structural feminists, and punk rock performance poets. After all, who would want to be mistaken for a sellout? In contrast, have you forgotten that on June 16, 1858, the great orator Abraham Lincoln wrote, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." I believe this government cannot endure permanently half slave and half free. It will become all one thing or all the other. Rather than promote freedom, ever-increasing tax and spend policies are leading to slavery for us all. And one half becomes enslaved by a heavy progressive income tax, the other become no less enslaved by dependence on a government redistribution of wealth. Slavery for all. Have you forgotten that it was not until February 3rd, 1913 that a federal income tax was made legal with ratification of the 16th Amendment? Of course, the people were assured that only the wealthiest 3 to 5% would pay. Wait, wasn't that the same decade in which the people were enlisted in the war to end all wars and the Titanic was declared unsinkable? Have you forgotten that on October 29, 1929, the stock market was said to have crashed after it had lost 40% of its value? No New Deal was able to bring our country out of that Great Depression for more than 10 years. And the stock market did not regain its pre-crash high for 25 years thereafter. Hollywood has taught us at least one truism after all: every sequel is worse than the original. Have you forgotten that on September 25th, 1957, 9 black students entered Central High School right here in Arkansas, in Little Rock, under the protection of 1,000 troops dispatched by Republican President Dwight Eisenhower over the objections of Democrat Governor Orville Faubus? Neither currently dominant political party has a monopoly on the defense of liberty, nor on the enforcement of tyranny. Have you forgotten that on November 9th, 1989, the Berlin Wall was torn down in a day by persons who had lived under a communist rule for more than 40 years? Interestingly enough, they were so eager to abandon government-controlled banking, subsidized housing, and universal health care. Have you forgotten that Following the events of September 11, 2001, America entered into a war on terror. Now, America may no longer be waging a, quote, war on terror, but we can assure you that terror continues to wage a war on America. Have you forgotten that on April 15, 2009, hundreds of thousands of Americans nationwide participated in a tax day tea party, inspired by the spirit of active citizenship that resulted in the founding of our choice nation? Let history proclaim this shout heard round the world as the start of a second American Revolution, one fought not with bullets expressed by guns, but with ideas expressed by words. As our history comes full circle, we stand united with the founders of this nation, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine protectionism. We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.